Councillor Criswell.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll be quite brief, actually.
Could you get a bit nearer to the mic?
Yes, sorry. I'll actually be quite brief. A lot has been said today, and I'd like to thank everybody for their contributions. As the spokesman for the Conservative group, I'm disappointed. I'm embarrassed. Actually, Chairman, I'm quite angry. What we're talking about is trying to maintain a sustainable library service by whatever means we can, and look at all options in order to do that. I know my group and I hope all of us are desperately trying to avoid library closures. But of course, we need to try and bring the public with us on this journey, which will be very difficult over the next 5 years. But of course, we need to be as open as possible and not have our reputation tarnished. It was mentioned, would the public have confidence in the council? Actually, the council is the public. We are all here as members of the public to represent the public. I'm angry that due diligence wasn't done to our satisfaction. I understand what officers have said, and individuals may not be investigated, but that is something we need to review. If they're fronting up a project, we need to make sure that due diligence is done on those people. As members, we can't be members of this council unless certain conditions are met, and we should expect that of those that we deal with. I'm also angry that actually the committee system has failed us on this occasion. Members opposite were very keen to bring in the committee system, and we will make the best of it as we can. But cross-party spokesmen saw this proposal a full month before it came to March committee, and officers develop a report on the response they get from those political parties that meet at the spokesmen's meetings. They had no kickback from members opposite and their parties at all, and progressed on that basis. So to then pop up at the committee meeting and say, we object, nothing to do with us, is actually very disingenuous. And if we want the committee system to work, then we need to make sure that in future we help lead this, so officers are led by us with what they come up with in their reports. Under the old cabinet system, it was mentioned about accountability. This would have come from a cabinet member who would have been accountable, and a report would have come from him. He would have had ownership of it and would have been accountable for that. And scrutiny would have been all over it like a rash, Chairman. But we threw all that away, and this is what we're left with. So we need to make the committee system work better, and all parties need to be part of it if this system is going to progress as it should do. I think the reasons for investigating this potential project were valid, because we need to look at all options. So let's be very clear about that. I don't think we can rule anything in and rule anything out, but we need to be giving officers a clear steer on what we find acceptable. And we can't look at all these things on whether they're popular or not, because I can assure members of the public we would like to do everything you would like to do, but some of the decisions over the next 5 years will be very unpopular. And at least this one actually wasn't going to lose us any services. Some of the decisions we've got coming up, Chairman, will lose us services. So in one respect, this would have been an easier decision. But because of the way this is now discredited and the people involved, I certainly don't think the Conservative Group Chairman can support this proposal any longer. But what I would say, Chairman, is that members need to get together as soon as possible to discuss how the gap in the finances will be met. Yeah. We've had some very good ideas from members of the public. I particularly commend Dr. Powell for the presentation she did at the last committee meeting that came up with some ideas. And I understand some of those things are already being looked at. We need to look at them further, because what we want is a sustainable library service, Chairman. And as I say, this is discredited. The Conservative Group cannot support this any longer, Chairman. But we do need to work with all members to find out how we're going to make the required savings, because that isn't optional, Chairman. We have to produce a balanced budget. That is their statutory obligation. So those savings will need to be made, and we need to find out how to do that, Chairman.
Councillor Criswell, thank